His holy people, amen?
Amen.
He had entered into a relationship with them. He had made a covenant with them. He had given them the 10 Commandments. But then he called Moses up to Mount Sinai to give him instructions on how the Israelites should live as God's holy people. See, God wanted an intimate relationship with the Israelites, just like he wants an intimate relationship with us, amen?
Amen.
But they wanted something different. They settled for less than God's best. The Israelites had to wait for 40 days, but they didn't want to wait on God. How many of us have made the same mistake? I know I have, more than once. Of not waiting on God, going to do it my way. Well, my way was wrong. Aaron showed that he had no backbone when he went along with the people to please them. See, there's nothing worse than a wimpy leader. I don't want nobody to lead me, ain't got no backbone. Amen. Aaron didn't have any backbone. We should never try to be men pleasers. You can't please men and God. Amen. So you have to make up your mind to please God. You have to make up your mind that you ain't going to compromise His word. You're not going to go along just to get along. Amen.
Amen.
Aaron chose to please the people rather than please God. They grew impatient. They ignored God's first commandment. And God's first commandment is that thou shalt have no other God before me. Amen. And yet they done made a God to worship because they couldn't wait on Moses to come down from the mountain. They also disobeyed God's second commandment, which says, thou shalt not worship any graven images. But they made and were worshiping the golden calf. Even though they had seen God in action, they still wanted to worship the gods that they had worshipped when they were back in Egypt. See, they had came out of Egypt, but Egypt hadn't come out of them. You know what I mean? Amen. Not only did the Egyptians worship the cow and the bull, but the bull was also used in their worship of the idol god Baal. The Israelites worshiped this new false image along with the worship of the true living God. So they were trying to put the false gods with the living God. That doesn't work. Amen?
Won't work.
This is called syncretism. S-Y-N-C-R-E-T-I-S-M. Syncretism. Blending the worship of false gods with the worship of the true God. The dictionary defines syncretism as a combination of different forms of belief or practice. They were trying to put the two together, but how many of you know that our God is a jealous God? He is a consuming fire. He is not going to have His people worshiping idol gods. What's tragic about this situation is that while God was trying to reach out to the Israelites, they were breaking their covenant with Him through their disobedience. God doesn't change or alter the words that come out of His mouth. Amen? It is us that change our relationship with Him. He doesn't walk away from us. We walk away from Him. And that's what Aaron did. The Israelites traded the true living God for a false God. But God, say but God, in His infinite and exceeding mercy forgave them. Our God is a forgiving God. He's full of mercy and it endures forever. Amen. How many of us are worshiping false gods? Some Christians have made their children their gods, or their houses, or their cars their gods. Some of them have made their jobs their God. Amen? God cannot work in us when we put anything or anyone above Him. There's a lot of people that love God, but they're not doing what God tells them to do because they love other things better. I know Christians that are shacking up that love God, but they love what they're doing more. God said, you got to love me more than anything else. Amen? God has to be number one.
Amen.
When Moses approached Aaron, he blamed the people for what had happened, even though Moses had left Aaron in charge. And that's what we're talking about today, Aaron the high priest. Look at Exodus, the 32nd chapter. You might be already there, right? We're going to look at verses 19 through 24. Praise Jesus. And I shared earlier that we're getting off the life application in a sense, and we're talking about different men of the Bible. but we can look at their lives and see how to apply what happened with them to our lives today. Amen?
Amen.
So that we don't make the same mistake. Exodus 32, we're going to look at verses 19 through 24, and I'll be reading from the New King James. So it was, as soon as he came near the camp, Moses, that he saw the calf and the dancing. So Moses' anger became hot, and he cast the tablets out of his hand and broke them at the foot of the mountain. Verse 20. Then he took the calf which they had made, burned it in the fire, and ground it to powder. And he scattered it on the water and made the children of Israel drink it. Moses was angry. He was angry when he saw the people dancing and worshiping the golden calf. Matter of fact, Moses had snapped. Moses had an anger problem. That's what kept him out of the promised land, you know. He broke the tablets containing the 10 Commandments. And God was even angrier, more angry than Moses was, because he wanted to kill the people. There's a place for righteous anger. And we need to thank God every day that we're under grace. Amen. That God ain't mad with us no more. We've been redeemed. Amen. We all get angry at times, but even when anger is justified, we shouldn't do anything that we will regret.